the electricity industry in this country.
Order. Question number 4, Sue Williams-Theo.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister for Social Development. Does she agree with the CEO of Mangere Budgeting and Family Support Services that, quote, increased private rental charges, higher power and energy prices, higher costs for food and dairy, higher road user charges, increased petrol costs, etc., without putting up wages, means that we are effectively making our people poorer, and ultimately it is costing the nation millions in welfare dollars? If not, why not?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, I've got huge respect for the work that Darryl and his team do on the front line, and I've no doubt that the impact of the recession is ongoing and still having an effect for many. But I also agree with this statement in the ODT editorial from Tuesday, and I quote, "New Zealand has grasped the seriousness of a growing welfare class and is mostly composed about changes being made to encourage a hand up and not a handout."
Supplementary question, Sue Williams-Theo.
Why does she believe that work and income grants to pay for electricity and for gas tripled in a 2-year period? And what plans does her government have to address this significant increase?
Good question.
Honourable
Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, we have seen hardship grants actually come down over the last 2 years, and quite considerably, by about 33%. What's interesting, though, sir, is that what we have is that in 2009, 8% of all hardship applications were declined, and in October 2012, this proportion fluctuated between 8 or 9%. So it's not that more are being declined, it's that we're not taking as many, and we do, as you can see, actually accept more than we certainly decline.
Point of order, Jacinda Ardern.
Mr. Speaker, my colleague clearly asked the Minister why she believed that electricity and gas grants had tripled in a 2-year period. The Minister did not address that question.
And that is absolutely a fair comment. If the Minister would like, I can have the question restated.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I can be more specific if you like, because they obviously are paid out during via hardship grants. What I've said is that overall they have come down. What we are seeing, though, is that people need assistance. That 2-year period was through the recession and through the effects of that, and I'm proud that this government has stood up and made sure that people can get the level of assistance that they need.
Supplementary question, Sue Williams-Theo.
Given the triple, is she aware that some families, according to Budget Advice Services, are forgoing food in order to be able to pay for power bills and are relying on food parcels as a consequence? And if so, what is her government doing to address this?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Speaker, what I can say is that through those budgeting services, in 2008, under the previous government, these budgeting services organisations were receiving just $4.3 million. Under this government, they're receiving a total of $13 million. So we are very committed to about giving them that level of support, recognising how they can budget. They do have access to hardship grants, and we're providing them with services and the support wherever we can.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can she assure the House that no budget advisors will be lost as a result of the Community Response Fund coming to an end, given budget advice is now a prerequisite to accessing some work and income grants?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, what we can see is that this government has more than doubled the funding going to budgeting services over the last few years. What we have got is this financial year, these budgeting services will receive $13 million. That's an increase on what they received last year. We're very cognisant of the fact that they have pressure on them, and as a consequence, we are working closely with them to see how we can work our way through it.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Can she guarantee to this House that budget advice services will continue to be funded at the same level they have been in past years, including the Community Response Fund?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
What I can guarantee them is they're getting significantly more than they did under Labor.
Question. Supplementary question, Carol.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. What impacts, to the Minister, what impacts have the responsible lending guidelines, a joint venture between MSD and the Financial Services Federation, had on protecting vulnerable consumers?
Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, what it has done is set up a way forward for working with those that are lending inappropriately, and like others we have huge concerns about that. MB are working on some pretty serious work around what we can do to alleviate some of those concerns we have about loan sharks that are really inappropriately lending to our most vulnerable.
Supplementary question, Carol Beaumont.
In light, Mr Speaker, what efforts has the Minister made to stop harm caused by loan sharks preying on the poor, given the significant delay in introducing legislation supposedly getting tough on loan sharks, announced by the Prime Minister before the last election?
Good question. Honourable Paula Bennett.
What we have done is made sure that they have access to a hardship assistance through work and income. For that, they do not actually have to pay any interest on either the advances they can get on benefit or the extra funding they can get through hardship. That's also available for those that are not just on benefit but outside of. What you've also seen is a more than doubling of funding going to budgeting services to wrap that kind of support around and to make sure that they're getting the support that they need, amongst many other initiatives.
Question number 5, Dr Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does he believe that the electricity reform